All right. Thanks for joining us again. My name is Rebecca Cooper. I am the breeding and equine manager at Ledyard Farms, and I'm joined here with Shane Darnell as we've been talking to some important people in the Morgan horse industry and specifically stallion owners as we prepare for the New York Morgan Service Stallion Auction, which is going to be on January 30th. And we have an opportunity today to talk with two stallion owners or two stallion donators, and they'll explain more of their story and how everyone is connected when we get with them. I'm joined with Jim Sebring and Julie Hoag. Julie is the proud mother of CBMF Crown Prince, and Jim Sebring also has retained semen on Crown Prince. It's been a part of Jim's family for a while, and also DBA Street Talk. So we just want to say a brief couple things about you to introduce yourself. Julie, can you just introduce yourself real quick first?
Hi, I'm Julie Hoag. I'm a veterinarian. I live in Woodstock, Illinois. My horses are at Silver Pine Stable with Jessica Kavanaugh. I go back in the Morgans kind of a long way, but had a big gap in the middle. I graduated from vet school in 1984. And after having had Appaloosas as a kid, when I got out of vet school, I decided I wanted to get Morgans. I wanted something fancier for horses again. And I found a lovely little Morgan that was a colt, a 6-week-old colt. And he was by a stallion called Chapel Hill Elijah, who was Royal Oaks Patrick's son. And the mother was a mare named Cherbrooks Aria, who was let me remember her. She was hang on, I'll tell you. She was a Windy Hill Maestro daughter. Okay. So he turned out to be just an absolutely darling colt. And he cleaned up in Classic Pleasure. And I had him with Stan and Paulette at Maryhill in the early years. So Paulette taught me a lot about riding. I got to kind of grow up in Morgan's, exposed to horses like Maryhill Hooligan, who I absolutely he blew me out of the water. He's still my mental image of English pleasure. And, when I had a chance to add a couple horses, I added in a mare that was called A Claim to Fame. She was a Fleetwing granddaughter. Her mother was Maryhill Wingfire, and her father was, I always have to look this up, her father was Regency Raincheck. And then I ended up leasing her out to Stan and Paulette, who did a lot of breeding with her because her bloodline was perfect for their breeding program. And then I bought one of their mares. I bought a half sister to Maryhill Hooligan, and she was a daughter of Curtain Call, Hoolie's mother. And she was to be the start of my breeding program. And I stood her to Stonecroft's Byzantine and got a gorgeous colt out of Ruby. But right after she weaned him, she came down with an autoimmune disease and died abruptly. It just tore my heart out. And about that time, we were looking, my then husband and I, we were looking at career moves that were going to take us overseas. And so Libretto Morgans produced one shining colt that we sold to Janelle Schroeder, who Kay and Janelle won Classic Pleasure all over the place with him. And he's now retired over at Broadmoor. But we kind of went dark for a while because we were overseas for about, I want to say about 14 years. I was over in Africa.
Julie, we're glad you're back with Crown Prince.
Well,
he's in the auction.
I keep falling in the dirt and coming up lucky because I couldn't have done better than to have a Hooligan half sister, and now to luck into, when I came back, I had Jessica go look for a mare for me, and she came back with this beautiful DBA Street Talk daughter. And then this year, when it was late 2019, we were looking for something. She's being a breeding now. We were looking for something for me to actually ride. And the minute I put a foot in the stirrup on that horse, I just fell in love. I mean, just fell in love. And so we snatched him up. And then the very next day, Carol won the world. So we started learning about his babies, and I couldn't love him more. He's the coolest horse. He's the coolest horse. I mean, his show career was fabulous, and the babies he's made so far, there's not so many, but they're also fabulous. But I'll tell you, I love that horse in his own right. He's just smart.
Funny story, Julie, before we jump to intros for Jimmy. Crown Prince was showing at New England Park Harness, and we were doing a live stream for New England. We were doing gate interviews for the first time that aired on the live stream. And Jimmy, your dad came out of Sebring with Prince after his victory pass. We were interviewing live on the live stream, and the USCF steward tried to stop us. And she said, "You can't do that. He's not been measured yet." And Dad said, "I am the president of AMHA. And I just took a victory pass with this horse, and it was already live streamed, so I'm going to give the interview." And he did.
Do you know who I am?
What year would that be about?
I don't know.
That was he won in New England in 12.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
2012.
Yeah.
He was reserve in 2013, the year he won the Worlds.
Yeah.
I kind of remember.
Yeah. Jimmy, tell us who you are. Everybody probably knows, but just in case.
Yeah, I am Jim Sebring, and with Kate Lynch, actually, we just started Highmark Stables here in Lanesboro, Massachusetts. As of January 1, we do training, breeding, and lessons. I was raised by 2 horse trainers. My whole life I've been around Morgan horses, and my recollection of breeding back just a few years ago, seems longer and longer now. I was in the middle of the Copper Beach days where we were putting 40 to 50, 55 babies a year on the ground. So sort of the mind-numbing logistics of that is how I remember it. Wasn't really able to enjoy the process. It was just with those numbers. While I think it did some very positive stuff for the breed, it was just a lot. It's just a lot of work when I'm just a kid, just trying to get horses moved and wrangled and roundups and stuff like that. But now, since Anne has left the breeding, it was a real mad dash from my dad to try to sell them dispersal, and I ended up, one of the last horses we never sold was CBMF Crowning Glory, the CBMF Crown Prince daughter, but out of MSV Victoria, and Street Talk stuck around. My dad bought him from Ann, so he was just he was a farm stud. He got turned out and was very handsome, just lived his life. And, a couple of years ago, I decided if no one was sending me anything to train, so I decided to make my own young stock. So I did. And I then really discovered my love for breeding, and especially breeding to Street Talk because of his kindness, his willing to work, his beauty. He has this great long neck, and he really pokes it up there, and he can really set his head. And so can his babies. All of his babies so far have just been kind horses. They just want to snuggle with in the stall, but then you put some tack on them, and they're gonna work their hardest for you once they know what they're doing. And that has been a real pleasure. Has been this discovering my love of breeding, and especially breeding to Street Talk, and Crown Prince, having him as the foundation, another foundation sire of mine, because he is the sire of my broodmare. All that talent I am also able to just pass along to these babies. So there's a little briefer synopsis of my upbringing, but it is what it is. I was born and raised Morgan, and then saw breeding, and now I'm doing my own breeding, and it's awesome.
Well, your description of the DBA Street Talk personality is right on target. You've described Dora to a T. She's all over you like a snuggle bear in the stall, and she literally gives kisses. She's adopted the special needs rider in our barn to give her extra special loving care. But the minute you put a bridle on that horse, she is ready to go wherever you point her. And she's got that long neck. And
we have of you know, of the 8 horses we're able to retain, I think 5 of them are Street Talk babies. You know, we have all these half siblings in here,
Yeah.
and they're a little annoying, but they just want your attention. They're all fighting for it, and
They got a lot of
It's in your
personality.
pocket. Yep.
oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah,
I
you
think
gotta
you
be
know
careful
our-
when you name a horse with talk in the name, because they're chatters too. They're just talking to you.
Yes.
I think you know our Street Talk mare as well, Ledred's Tiger Lily, who's a Street Talk
yes.
mare who fits all those same gorgeous necks, super friendly, big show off.
Yeah, bright
as,
eyes, happy to see
huge
you,
eyes,
ears up.
gorgeous eyes. Yep. She's currently working with Clea Clutier out in Massachusetts, so she's in your neck of the woods.
We were actually they stabled with us at Oklahoma.
I heard it was like
We
Street
kept
Talk
teasing
Row.
Clea. Yeah, we were teasing Clea that she's just gonna get off the trailer at our place. We're gonna keep her. She was
said
just
something like you
another
brought-
lovely mare.
5 Street Talk horses in the same aisle or something.
Yeah.
So Julie, if you could pick, go ahead. I say, Julie, if you could pick a couple, what are the main characteristics that you've both noticed and that you've heard from people that are passed along to the offspring of Crown Prince?
Well, I'd love to get feedback from the people who have his babies about how their mind and heart work. From what I can see, they get, they're really stamped. I mean, you can look at them and you can see they're all related to each other. They've got his long neck, they've got his beautiful face, and they've got a headset on him that just hinges over and is essentially done. When I'm riding Prince, the biggest thing is to not get in his way, and he just sets his head on his own. He's easy to work with. He's got a wonderful work ethic, and so I'm looking forward to finding out if they've got the work ethic that he does. But boy, they all have a beautiful face. They've all got a beautiful long neck. One of the other things I've noted about him is, he, like I kind of went dark for a while. He kind of went dark for a little while he was showing with the youth exhibitors. He didn't sire a lot of babies there for a couple of years. And so a lot of the horses that he's sired that are winning right now, they're not 4 or 5 years old. They're, seasoned horses with a little bit of experience on them, and they're going strong, and they came out of the gate winning as youngsters, and they're still winning at, 8, 9, 10 years old. And that's kind of how he is. I mean, he came out of the gate, just a shining star. And here he is at 15, and he's still squiring me around. And we showed him and bred him last year, and it did take a little tiny toll on him towards the end of the year. It's a crazy year last year for horse shows, but he never misses a beat. He never gets cranky. He has the fewest bad hair days of any horse I've ever seen. He never says, no, I'm not feeling this today. He just comes out ready to work, and just, as long as I can do what he needs as a rider, and, let's face it, I'm an amateur, amateur with the capital A, amateur. But as long as I can do what he needs, he gives you 100%.
That's great, Julie. That's great. Jimmy's family's been in Morgans forever, and the contributions his family has made to the Morgans, I can't say enough. His dad was always so kind to me, getting started in the Morgans and helping out. I've got to end this conference call at 3 o'clock, so I've got a real quick story. We were live streaming at Oklahoma with Jimmy's dad, and we were doing an interview like this. We had a president of AMHA, we had USCF, we had Conkey Price doing the interview. We're all up in the front gate, or in the front Coliseum area. Your dad was at the time AMHA president. And got the executive director. We also had Jarvis Insurance owners there. They were all standing like against a backdrop, and we're doing this interview live. And Howie Schausberg walks behind the camera and flips your dad off, and your dad's standing there like flipping him. I mean, it was hysterical.
Were you horrified? Were you just like, you can't do that?
No, it wasn't on camera. You couldn't see it on camera. So I was dying laughing because the rest of them didn't see it going on, and your dad just had a cash-out grin on his face, just going along with it.
Well, I have to share a memory of Jimmy's dad here too, because the first year, this is going way back, I think it was my very first, or it might have been my second year ever at Grand Nationals, was the year that Harry and the Lash Whips took the stage. And as a newcomer to Grand Nationals, boy, that just, I thought, I am home. This is my spirit home, because that was just a blast. And he was clearly having so much fun and such a good open sport that, you know, I thought, yeah, this is where I need to be.
We've got a minute or so left. Jim, tell us about High Mark Stables. Tell us about what you and Kate are doing. A little more information.
Oh, sure. We're doing what we can. We are, again, we're doing training, we're doing lessons, and we're doing breeding. And we're doing with our, you know, Street Talk Barn right now, but we're open to, we are open to new training horses, but we're having a great time. We're doing, we have a couple of young horses. We have some seasoned horses with some amateur riders. It's sort of living the dream right now. We're able to get these guys worked and get these lessons, introduce people to Morgans and saddle seat and hunt seat, and just the whole experience, and just a blast.
I was going to ask if you were focusing on anything, but all things Morgan, all different disciplines and levels. Yeah. And
yep. We are really we're working really hard to introduce sort of the local, the community to Morgan horses and all they have to offer.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, I think we're just about out of time, but we appreciate you guys both so much for talking with us today and telling us about your stallions. We do have more information on these two wonderful studs and some others on the NewYorkMorganStallions.com, where you can sign up to bid in the auction, or you can attend the auction itself live at the Del Lago Casino on January 30th. So thank you guys so much for taking some time out to chat with us today.
Yeah.
Be well, everybody. Wear your masks.
Thank you for having me.